Karen's sneer could curdle milk, and her sister, Darlene, wasn't far behind, chucking popcorn like it was confetti at a parade gone wrong. The movie theater, once a haven for buttery escapism, now reeked of chaos and Karen's cheap perfume. It was a humid Saturday night in suburban Ohio, the kind where the air clung to your skin like a bad decision. The local Cineplex 12 was packed for the 7 p.m. showing of Intergalactic Revenge, a sci-fi blockbuster that had kids and adults alike buzzing. The theater hummed with anticipation, crinkling candy wrappers, muffled giggles, and the low hum of pre-movie chatter. But Karen and Darlene, the infamous HOA Karen sisters, had other plans. Known in their gated community for terrorizing neighbors over untrimmed hedges and unauthorized mailbox colors, they brought their reign of petty tyranny to the public. Karen, the ringleader, waddled into the theater 10 minutes late, her oversized leopard print blouse straining at the seams. Darlene, her slightly leaner but equally venomous sidekick, trailed behind, clutching a jumbo popcorn bucket like a weapon. Their arrival was a spectacle. Karen's loud complaints about the sticky floors and overpriced tickets cut through the opening credits. Heads turned, eyes rolled, but nobody dared shush them, not yet. The sisters plopped into their seats, dead center, their combined bulk spilling over the armrests. For a moment, the theater settled back into the movie's rhythm. Lasers zapped, spaceships roared, and the audience was hooked. Then it started. A kid in the row behind them, maybe 10 years old, laughed a little too loudly at a robot's one-liner. Karen's head whipped around faster than a plot twist. "Excuse me, some of us are trying to watch," she barked, her voice a nails-on chalkboard mix of scorn and superiority. The kid froze, his popcorn halfway to his mouth. His dad, a tired-looking guy in a flannel, leaned forward. "Lady, it's a movie. Relax." "Wrong move." Karen's face reddened, her jowls quivering with indignation. "Relax? Relax? You're raising a brat who can't shut up." Darlene, ever the loyal henchwoman, chimed in. "People like you ruin everything. No respect." The kid's dad, now visibly annoyed, muttered something about manners and went back to the movie. But Karen wasn't done. Oh no, she never was. She stood, her bucket of popcorn sloshing as she gestured wildly. "This whole theater is too loud. You people don't know how to behave." And then, in a move that would haunt Cineplex 12's Yelp reviews, she scooped a handful of popcorn and flung it at the kid and his dad. Kernels rained down like greasy shrapnel. Darlene, not to be outdone, joined in, tossing handfuls at anyone within range. A woman in a nearby row yelped as popcorn hit her glasses. A teenager's soda tipped over, soaking his lap. The theater erupted, not in applause, but in chaos. People shouted. Someone yelled, "Get a grip, lady." Another threw popcorn back. The movie played on, ignored, as the sisters turned the screening into their personal coliseum. Karen, emboldened by the attention, pointed at the crowd. "You're all trash. This is why we need rules." Darlene nodded, hurling more popcorn like a machine gunner. Enter Miguel, the 19-year-old usher who'd been cleaning nacho cheese off the lobby floor 10 minutes earlier. He sprinted down the aisle, his flashlight wobbling. "Ma'am, you need to stop," he pleaded, his voice cracking under the weight of Karen's glare. She rounded on him. "Don't you ma'am me, kid. I paid for this seat, and I deserve respect." Miguel, barely paid enough to deal with this, radioed for backup. The theater manager, Sarah, arrived next to no-nonsense woman in her 40s who'd seen her share of tantrums, but nothing quite like this. "Ladies," she said, her voice firm but calm, "you're disturbing everyone. Leave now, or I'm calling security." Karen laughed, a harsh, guttural sound. "Security? For what? These people are the problem." She gestured at the crowd, now a mix of angry, amused, and bewildered faces. Darlene, clutching her nearly empty popcorn bucket, added, "We're not going anywhere." That's when Jake, a burly construction worker in the third row, stood up. He'd been quiet until now, nursing a spilled Coke and a growing headache. "You threw popcorn at my kid," he said, his voice low but dangerous. "Apologize." Now, Karen smirked, crossing her arms. Your kid shouldn't be here if he can't behave. The crowd gasped. Jake took a step forward, but Sarah stepped between them, her hands raised. Everyone, calm down. It was too late. The sisters' entitlement had lit a fuse, and the theater was a powder keg. A teenager in the back lobbed a candy wrapper at Karen, who shrieked as if she'd been shot. Darlene retaliated, dumping the last of their popcorn on a random couple. The couple, now drenched in butter, yelled back. Miguel, poor Miguel, tried to herd the sisters toward the exit, but Karen shoved him, sending his flashlight skittering across the floor. The turning point came when a quiet, middle-aged woman named Linda stood up. She'd been watching the movie with her elderly mother, who was visibly shaken by the commotion. Linda's voice was steady but piercing. "You're not special," she said, locking eyes with Karen. "You don't get to ruin this for everyone because you think you're above us." The crowd murmured in agreement. Karen's smugness faltered, just for a second, but she doubled down. "Above you? Honey, I'm light years ahead." That's when the cops showed up. 2 officers, summoned by Sarah's frantic call, pushed through the theater doors. The movie paused, the screen frozen on a spaceship mid-explosion. The crowd went silent, save for Karen's indignant huffing. "Officers, thank God!" she exclaimed, pointing at Jake, Linda, and half the theater. "These people are harassing us." Darlene nodded vigorously, her earrings jangling. The officers weren't buying it. Witnesses, dozens of them, recounted the popcorn assault, the shouting, the chaos. Miguel, still shaken, handed over his flashlight as evidence of Karen's shove. The officers exchanged a look. "Ma'am," one said to Karen, "you're under arrest for disorderly conduct." Darlene gasped, clutching her purse like a lifeline. "You can't arrest us. We're the victims." Handcuffs clicked. The crowd cheered, not the polite kind, but the raw, cathartic kind you'd hear at a wrestling match. Karen's face twisted in disbelief as she was let out, her leopard print blouse catching the theater's neon lights. Darlene followed, still muttering about injustice. The officers, unfazed, escorted them to the squad car waiting outside. In the aftermath, the theater buzzed with a different energy. Sarah comped everyone's tickets, and the movie restarted to scattered applause. Linda helped her mother back to her seat, her quiet strength a stark contrast to Karen's bluster. Jake high-fived his kid, who was already retelling the story to his friends via text. Miguel, now a hero in the eyes of his co-workers, retrieved his flashlight and got a pat on the back from Sarah. Outside, Karen and Darlene sat in the back of the squad car, their voices muffled but still complaining. "This is outrageous." Karen snapped. "I'm calling my lawyer." The officer driving just shook his head. "Ma'am, maybe next time, just watch the movie." The sisters' reign of terror didn't end with a grand apology or a sudden change of heart. They faced fines, community service, and a ban from Cineplex 12. Word spread fast in their HOA, where neighbors gleefully shared the story over group chats and front-lawn gossip. The Karen sisters, once feared for their nitpicking and noise complaints, became a cautionary tale. Entitlement doesn't win, and karma doesn't miss. Back in the theater, as the credits rolled, Linda leaned over to her mother. "See, Mom? Sometimes the good guys win." Her mother smiled, squeezing her hand. The movie wasn't half bad either. The end,